You're listening to Community Radio, CKMS, Radio Waterloo, 102.7, 946 on the Rogers Digital Network. You can find us.
Happy Monday, Waterloo Region. It's Monday, June the 10th. This is CKMS Community Connections. I'm Bob Jonkman. We have another 2 hours of community information, new music, and an interview with Surekha Shenoy coming up at 11 o'clock. This is Electric Youth and The Life.
Your story, great is your fight, it's your game, you keep on scoring, no, I don't think he can hear you. Too busy living the life. No, I don't think he can see you. Too busy living the life. Hate in your eyes. It's so foreign. You take no advice. Don't want to talk. It's so boring. No. I don't think he can hear you. Too busy living the life. No. I don't think he can see you. Too busy living the life.
Take back those satellites, you know they're in your living room and in your minds. And I don't know, they take control of your lives. Take back those satellites, you know they're everywhere and everyone you like. But I don't know, but I believe in life. Tell you to come down, get ready to fold. To make you feel like you're getting too old. To tell you it's your time to do what you're told. To do what you're told. 'Cause we all know more control, imagination. No more control, imagination. No more control, imagination. No more control, imagination. Take back those satellites, you know they're in your living room and in your minds. And I don't know, they take control of your lives. Tell you to come down, get ready to fold. To make you feel like you're getting too old. To tell you it's your time to do what you're told. To do what you're told. 'Cause we all know more control, imagination. No more control, imagination. No more control, imagination. No more control, imagination. Cause we all know more control, imagination. No more control, imagination. No more control, imagination. No more control, imagination.
That's Velvet Code and a new track, Controlled Imagination. Before that, we heard The Life with Electric Youth. Electric Youth is a Toronto-based duo consisting of multi-instrumentalist Austin Garrick and vocalist Bronwyn Griffin. Their new single, The Life, is out now. The first track from their forthcoming project, Memory Emotion, was out on August the 9th from Last Gang Records. You may know Electric Youth from their breakout track, A Real Hero, which was featured in the acclaimed film called Drive, starring Ryan Gosling. The track went top 10 on iTunes, and they were nominated for the MTV Movie Award for Best Music in 2012. They followed this released in 2014 with their album Inner World. Electric Youth's self-produced Memory Emotion is the yang to the yin of their acclaimed debut. Whereas Inner World had an inward focus and the immersive atmospherics of a headphones album, the new LP looks outward, exploring a wider spectrum of sounds, moods, tempos, resulting in their most dynamic body of work yet. We also heard Velvet Code, which is a Canadian electro-pop artist, DJ, and producer. He's just released his brand new album, Dreamer, which we heard, in advance of the Pride celebrations across Canada. A proud and vocal member of the LGBT community, Velvet Code has plans to embark on an international Pride Festival tour, with additional tour dates to be announced in the fall. The brand new second album from Velvet Code has been released through AMG's Sony Music, and the first single, Break the Silence, has received over 1.5 million plays worldwide. Upbeat, innovative, incredibly creative, Velvet Code collaborated with industry legend Wendy Starland, who worked with Lady Gaga, to create a dance album that also deals with some serious topics, including mental health, anxiety, and his modern electronic take on the 1980s music influences. This album, Dreamer, honors Velvet Code's classic sounds with musical influence from Madonna, Freddie Mercury, and others. The album, written in dedication to the artist's father, who passed away from pancreatic cancer last year, is a collection of stories from Velvet Code's own life experiences, written with the aim of inspiring hope in today's political climate. Velvet Code hopes that despite any struggles that listeners may be going through, the collection of songs on Dreamer will serve as a reminder that their dreams are still alive and waiting for them. Speaking of LGBT celebrations and Pride celebrations, I'll be going to Brantford later today to attend the Pride flag raising ceremony at Brantford. And I believe that in Brant County, there is a Pride unveiling event happening this morning, which I couldn't attend because I'm with you on the radio. A little bit further news, looking at the KW Peace calendar. June continues to be Bike Month. There is a Bike Month at the University of Waterloo, where they've got a bike challenge going from now until the end of the month. And there'll be a bike lunch on June the 20th. In partnership with TravelWise, the Sustainability Office at the University of Waterloo will be hosting challenges and events, as well as providing resources for you to start biking. You can check that out on kwpeace.ca. Let's return to a little bit more Velvet Code. This is the single that I mentioned, Break the Silence. And then we'll listen to Bound Together after that.
I've been down so long, I couldn't remember how it feels to flicker till you. I've been down so long, used to drink my tea straight down with liquor till you. Because of you, I am consumed by all of you. You're all that I did find. Because of you, I am confused, nothing to lose, addicted. Please ceasefire. You're only given one life. Give yourself a hard time. Do it 1,000 times for you. You're only given one life. I want you with me this time to travel the unknown path for two. Bound together, bound together, bound together. Why do I care so much when you don't even take the time to know me, all of me? You say I stress too much when all you do is play your hide and seek with me. Because of you, I am consumed by all of you. You're all that I desire. Because of you, I am confused, nothing to lose, addicted. Please cease fire. You're only given one life. Give yourself a hard time. Do it 1,000 times for you. You're only given one life. Once you with it this time, to travel the unknown path for two. Bound together, bound together, bound together. Bound together, bound together, bound together. You're only given one life. Give yourself a hard time. Do it 1,000 times for you. You're only given one life. Once you with it this time, to travel the unknown path for two. Bound together, bound together, bound together. People are so empty, but they can't even see they got complicated mind. They're so empty on the inside. Seems they'd rather be not whining about a little problem they have. Well, you can do some steroids if you're paranoid. You can't eat a big steak. Beauty keeps you look great. Only the fool will play life by the rules. You can see there's nothing bothering me. Oh no! You can see there's nothing bothering me at all. You can see it could happen to you and me. It ain't something you haven't heard before. Situation and he one step closer to the pressure. Circle a friend who will shut up because I'm a stupid comment on Facebook. You can see there's nothing bothering me. Oh no! You can see there's nothing bothering me at all. You can see it could happen to you and me. It ain't something you haven't heard before. You can see there's nothing bothering me. Oh no! You can see there's nothing bothering me at all. You can see it could happen to you and me. It ain't something you haven't heard before.
Oh, ain't it a shame to go fishing on a Sunday? Ain't it a shame? Ain't it a shame to go fishing on a Sunday? Ain't it a shame? Oh, ain't it a shame to go fishing on a Sunday when you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, oh, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Ain't it a shame? Ain't it a shame to have a drink on a Sunday? Ain't it a shame? Ain't it a shame to have a drink on Sunday? Ain't it a shame? Oh, ain't it a shame to have a drink on Sunday when you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, oh, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Ain't it a shame? Yeah, come on, boys. Oh, ain't it a shame to meet your wife on a Sunday? Ain't it a shame? Ain't it a shame to meet your wife on a Sunday? Ain't it a shame? Oh, ain't it a shame to meet your wife on a Sunday when you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, oh, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Ain't it a shame? Wow! Oh, ain't it a shame?
Don't recall that I've enjoyed punk music quite as much in a very long time. That's Ain't It a Shame from Just Because. Michael Delisle writes, "Hey, punk rock bag from Quebec, Canada here. I've just sent you 3 Just Because songs. Each one's are out of 3 different records. Let me know if you'd be interested to have some more or if you want some more info about new Just Because EP that comes out in a week. We are reforming after a hiatus of 4 years, and a new album is coming soon. We've been playing and goofing around since 2004, so got a lot of good stuff for you, and more to come. You can see more of Just Because at justbecause1, that's the number 1, .bandcamp.com. A fun band, and we will definitely play some more Just Because later on in the show. Let's have a quick look at the events list again at kwpeace.ca. Starting at 11 o'clock today, the open house for Climate and Energy Action Plan. The University of Waterloo invites you to share thoughts and ideas on how the campus can become carbon neutral by 2050. This is one of 3 open houses where all members of the university community are encouraged to provide input. 4 public consultations were also held in the winter of 2019. Open houses will display relevant information about the development of Waterloo's first ever Climate and Energy Action Plan, key stats and data, and provide an opportunity for thoughts, comments, and to indicate the importance and concern. These consultations are facilitated by the Sustainability Office on behalf of the Climate and Energy Working Group of the President's Advisory Committee on Environmental Sustainability. You can see that at the Sustainability in Waterloo. This would be at SCH, the building called SCH at the University of Waterloo campus, 200 University Avenue West. Also tonight, on Monday, 5:15 p.m., Alliance Against Poverty is having their regular monthly meeting. Alliance Against Poverty is an alliance of individuals from a variety of economic and social situations who strive to end poverty within our society by practicing solidarity between those who have enough and those who do not have enough, learning from one another through experience, reflection, and action, and applying direct political pressure to all 3 levels of government. I think one of the levels of pressure they're going to be applying is regarding transit. There are some transit issues afoot in Waterloo region, and Alliance Against Poverty will be banding together to address those issues. Largely, it's the reallocation of bus stops because of the LRT coming round, and that's reducing some of the availability of stops. And of course, the fare increase, which is going to adversely affect all those people who already have enough trouble making ends meet. Tonight also is the monthly meeting for the Waterloo Region Health Coalition. That's at 7 p.m. They'll be discussing public health care, and we'll have coffee, including decaf and cookies and conversation. It's at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, 54 Queen Street North in Kitchener, Ontario. You can contact Jim Stewart. Information will be on the kwpeace.ca website. Also, you can see the announcement for that at meetup.com. And that'll do for the moment. Back with more issues or more events on the KW Peace calendar in a bit. Let's listen to some Golden Grey and one of two different albums called Numbers. We're listening to Number One.
Let's take a ride down memory lane. Here we are again, here we are again, here we are again, here we are again. My friend, let's remember how, let's remember how, let's remember how, let's remember how, let's remember how it is, remember how it is. Here we are again, here we are again, here we are again. Here we are again.
That was numbers 1 and 2 from Golden Gray. Golden Gray writes, says, "Hello, I am the Edmonton, Alberta-based electronic act Golden Gray. I've released an EP entitled Numbers through the label Biblioteca Records, based in Toronto. Contains 6 tracks, numbered 1 through 6, and can be streamed through soundcloud.com/goldengray/set/numbers. Thank you for consideration and for including it in your digital library. Looking at the goldengray.bandcamp.com page, says Golden Gray is an electronic journey through soft bells and steady rhythms conveying an outcome of emotion. It's electronic music that is simple yet cinematic, inspired by artists such as Tennyson, Baz, and Tycho. All available through Bandcamp, and you can listen to more Golden Gray in a bit, because we'll have some more. Let's have a look at some more events on the KWP's calendar. We're up to Tuesday. On Tuesday at 7 p.m. will be the weekly meeting for the WR Nonviolence Group. They meet every Tuesday at Queen Street Commons Cafe. 7 p.m. They discuss the themes and organize activities for nonviolence. Right now, discussions are well underway for planning the Day in the Park, the Nonviolence Day in the Park, taking place on Victoria Park Island on July 20th. And we'll have Matt Albrecht, the organizer for WR Nonviolence, on the show probably on July the 15th to talk about all things nonviolent and specifically the Day in the Park. On Wednesday, June the 12th, Green Drinks in Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge. Come one, come all for an informal gathering of environmentally conscientious, sustainable, like-minded people who enjoy casual conversation, good food, and good fun. They'll be focusing on sustainable development, and they extend their invitation to all friends of local businesses, communities, academia, governments to gather for some wonderfully inspired conversations. The gatherings are held every second Wednesday of the month. Please join them. This is taking place, I believe, at the Barley Works Billiard Room at the Hooter Hotel. Can look up more information from them at Green Drinks, which is an international organization, actually. You can attend Green Drinks events all over the world. There's going to be another one in Brantford, for example, on this Thursday, June the 13th. And I'll be there for that one. Not entirely sure what that is. It's in Brantford, but you can look it up at greendrinks.com. Also on June 12th, 7 p.m., Coping with Climate Change, subtitled The World is Ending, Now What? It's a conversational workshop and support group. They're very pleased to host the third installment of this popular monthly series at the Causerie. So this is the Merit Collective putting on a series of events on climate change. They write, "This is a time of great change in the world, but the dominant dialogue is filled with despair and frustrations. Things are bad, no doubt, but there is work being done to change things. Join us for an evening of hope, where people come together to acknowledge the danger the world is in while looking forward to solutions. Think of it like a support group for people dealing with climate change, industrial pollution, and fear of the future. People will have a chance to speak and be heard. The conversational workshop will guide participants through a series of exercises designed to reconnect us with the community and plan for ways forward in turbulent times." That's at the Causerie, courtesy of the Merit Collective. The Causerie is, I think, at the corner of Park Street and Victoria in Kitchener. Not entirely sure of the address. Doesn't give the address on the page here, but you can look it up, kwpeace.ca, and you'll see all the events listed there. Let's go back to a little bit of music. Listening to Radio 77, a reggae group out of Toronto, from their album The Future Bass Wave. And this is Walking on the Moon.
They say, wish the days away, no way. And if it's a price I pay, some say, tomorrow's another day. You stay, I may as well play. Giant steps are what you take, walking on the moon. I hope my leg don't break, walking on the moon. We could walk forever, walking on the moon. We could be together, walking on, walking on. Wishing my days away, no way. If it's a price I pay, some stay. Tomorrow's another day. You stay, I may as well play. I may as well play. May as well play. May as well play. Everything will be alright tonight. Everything will be alright tonight. No one moves, no one talks, no one thinks, no one walks, no one moves, no one talks, no one thinks, no one walks tonight. Everyone will be alright tonight. Everyone will be alright tonight. No one moves, no one talks, no one thinks, no one walks, no one moves, no one talks, no one thinks, no one walks tonight. till I die. I will see her in the sky. I will love her till I die. I will see her in the sky. Kiss me once, girl. Kiss me twice. Your sugar and spice and everything nice. Love me forever and I'll be true to you, girl. You are an angel, so divine. You are an angel, mine, oh mine. Love me forever and I'll be true to you, girl. You are an angel, so divine. You are an angel, mine, oh mine. Love me forever and I'll be true to you, girl. Love me forever and I'll be true to you, girl.
Radio 77 and a number of reinterpretations of classics. The debut dub wave from a new transatlantic operating room where bass will be impressively back in the new wave. Coming up as a studio musician, replaying classic tracks and working with New York and Bay Area hip-hop and reggae crews, Radio 77's DJ Joey Radio rolled into this collaboration and studio work with artists such as Damian Marley, Gorillaz, Jack Johnson, Deltron 3030, just to name a few. His new project, Radio 77, is a new dubwave group from New York City, with the unlikely but elegant union of mixing future dub styles with sweet roots, vocal harmony, and the 80s new wave influences. The EP Future Wave Bass will be released on the world by renowned Echo Beach label from Germany. and features dub matrix and mixing production skills and dub versions. Yes, every tune on this EP has both the regular version, which we heard, and a dub version, which is interesting. With a career spanning over 25 years in various incarnations as an artist, band member, and writer, DJ, producer, and more, singer DJ Joey Radio got his start growing up in downtown New York City, singing with his mom's rock and soul records, playing guitar in punk rock bands, collecting records, and eventually crafting meticulous beats on his MPC 3000. The influence and inspiration for Radio 77 sound all come out of my years in downtown New York City, he writes. We had everything from all over the world in just a couple of blocks. It was a mix of neighborhood culture, but based on influences from all over the world. The debut EP, Future Wave Bass, is an impressive and beautifully layered multi-genre fusion of block party bass, Latin and Jamaican sound system culture leanings, with a smashing of new wave edge and sweet roots vocals. So this is from Echo Beach, which is released out of Hamburg, Germany, from an artist who came from New York. And for some reason, I have it on my CanCon list because it came from Canada. Not entirely sure how that happened. Let's finish off the week on the KWP's calendar. We're up to Thursday. On Thursday at 10 a.m. all the way to 4:30 p.m., an all-day event, Aging and Spirituality, Finding Courage and Resilience at the Conrad Grebel University College. We can find ourselves in a new territory where much is unknown as we face challenges and difficulties in illness, in the aging process, and in dying. In the same way the grit inside an oyster transforms into a pearl, we wonder if our fear and frustration can be transformed into something just as beautiful in us. You are invited to a time of learning, reflection, and self-care. We will be led by a collaborative, experienced group of spiritual companions of various faith traditions who work in long-term care, hospice, and in the community. Teresa Bryan, Miriam Fry, Dale Gunter, Jane Kupfer, Celia McBride, and Maureen McDonald. You can learn more and register at Conrad Grebel University College, which is on it's on Westmount Avenue, just north of University. And then finally on Friday, also at Conrad Grebel University College, there's a Balinese gamelan ensemble concert. This is a regular event at Conrad Grebel. I have yet to hear their particular gamelan orchestra, but I've heard gamelan at the Multicultural Festival, which is also coming up in a couple of weeks. They write, the Balinese gamelan is meant to be heard outdoors, so please join us at Waterloo Town Square. Oh, not at the university. Waterloo Town Square for a terrific evening concert, free admission. This ensemble is directed by Idiwa Made Made Suparta, a noted gamelan composer, and Dr. Maisie Sum. Stay after the concert to try out an instrument or two. The rain location is Conrad Grebel's Great Hall, so please keep an eye on the website at the Grebel University College website to see if storms are threatening and the venue gets moved indoors to Conrad Grebel's Great Hall. That should be fun. Gamelan music is loud and tuneful and lots of fun to listen to and probably to participate in if you have a chance to try out some instruments. All right, let's finish off the hour here. We're going to be listening to 18 Meta, a hip-hop artist, and we're listening to a tune called Feels Like, followed by Win or Lose and My Fault, and we'll end off the hour with an artist named Rapta and the tune Lies.
On the road, those beautiful eyes told beautiful lies. Going through some things, late night rides ain't feeling so nice. Going through some things, calling your phone, tell me what's going on. Feels like I'm dying all alone. 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 Feeling lost in this damn world. Trying to find myself, but it's not enough. Nothing feels like home when you're not around. Running out of ones, running out of words. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. Running out of ones, running out of words. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. Either win or you lose. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. Either win or you lose. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. So many rides on the city lights. You were the spotlight. Running out of nights looking for my life. It isn't right. Trying to find love, but it's not enough. Broken heart, yeah, I lost my part. Still remember those beautiful eyes. Trusted me when they told you lies. You believed in me when no one did. Wish that you could see the mess you made. Now I feel empty, what can I say? Drugs all up in me, this is my fate. Running out of ones, running out of words. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. Running out of ones, running out of words. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. Either win or you lose. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. Either win or you lose. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. Remember the first night, it was midnight. Wearing your blue dress in the moonlight. Now you're gone and you're far from home. Demons on me and I feel alone. Running out of time, searching for my soul. Broke my fucking heart, do you even know? Running out of ones, running out of words. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. Running out of ones, running out of words. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. Either win or you lose. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. Either win or you lose. Life's a game of cards, either win or you lose. Baby, why'd you call my phone, yeah? Tell me when you coming home, yeah? No, don't you leave me alone, yeah? You're my queen, let me put you on my throne, yeah? Baby, I know it's my fault. Didn't mean to do you wrong. Baby, please just come back home. Let me just explain my wrongs. I was sipping that strong, I was feeling alone. Just give another call, I promise I won't fall. Baby, let me please you. Baby, let me tease you. First night that we met, I fell under your spell. You said you gon' love me even if I go to hell. Baby, where you going now? Tell me where's your home now? Tell me who's your man now? Baby, where you going now? Tell me where's your home now? Tell me who's your man now? Baby, why'd you call my phone, yeah? Tell me when you coming home, yeah? No, don't you leave me alone, yeah? You're my queen, let me put you on my throne, yeah? Baby, I know it's my fault. Didn't mean to do you wrong. Baby, please just come back home. Let me just explain my wrongs. Truth be told, when no one was around, you stood your ground. You never left me down, you always stayed around. Yeah, we had a crown. You told me I was gonna win. Now you're gone with the wind. Baby, why'd you call my phone, yeah? Tell me when you coming home, yeah? No, don't you leave me alone, yeah? You're my queen, let me put you on my throne, yeah? Baby, I know it's my fault. Didn't mean to do you wrong. Baby, gon' need a shot and a say, to get it out of me. To tell you how it is, thought you'd like to hear from me. Listen to me when I'm talking, you taking that other advice. My way of sending the messages leave you on red, no reply. My favorite part of the story is when they start feeding you lies. All of that heady, yeah, but shit, got messy, yeah. Who's telling lies that keep you up through the night? Your peace of mind is not alright. It's a Hey, I've been laying harder reach. I've been coming down your tweets. I saw what you saw in me. Whether you believe it or not, I'm still promoting your way. I love your grace. I love your style, girl. I love your taste. Rolling on my mattress. You ain't far from my place. But you could be out in New York, running out of mistakes. Soft flow like I don't want it, and you hate who I'm becoming. Cause the old me wanna change, and the new me's foreign. Got a key to my heart, and your name is on it. Keep it close when I need, but you follow when I want it. Got a P on the top, the back, and the rollie, and a chain for my watch, my bag, and my own it. Cause it's 3 in the morning, and my fan keep on zoning. Cause we need a nigga, and we are, and we gon' need a shot and a say, to get it out of me. To tell you how it is, thought you'd like to hear from me. Listen to me when you do it, you taking that other advice. My way of sending the messages, looking you right in your eyes. My favorite part of the story is when they start feeding you lies. All of that heady, yeah, but shit, got messy, yeah. Who's telling lies that keep you up through the night? You'll be surprised who's on your side. It's a I've been laying harder reach. I've been coming down your tweets. I saw what you saw in me. Whether you believe it or not, I'm still promoting your way.
Hi, I'm Jim Dyer from Cambridge. You are listening to Community Radio CKMS, Radio Waterloo. Now live streaming on the FM band at 102.7, in addition to Rogers Digital Network at 946, and on internet at soundfm.ca. Community Radio broadcasts and promotes local news and entertainment through the spoken word and music.
One, two, three. You'll never find me. 4, 5, 6. I'm best at this. 7, 8, 9. All this time, and when you reach 10, if you call my name and I don't come out, know that I first had to find it. If you ask me how I dress so well, I guess it's all that time in the closet. And it's invisible, but it won't force me out. No, just let me take this time. This time in the invisible closet. One, two, three. find me. 4, 5, 6. Do I need a fix? 7, 8, 9. All this time, and when you reach 10, if you call my name and I don't come out, know that I first had to find it. If you ask me how I dress so well, 'cause it's all that time in the closet, and it's invisible, but oh, don't force me out. No, just let me take this time. This time, in the invisible closet. These walls, they are transparent. These walls that I put up. These walls, they are transparent. These walls that I put up. These walls, they are transparent. These walls that I put up. These walls, they are transparent. These walls that I. And if you call my name and I don't come out, know that I first had to find you. If you ask me how I dress so well, 'cause it's all that time in the closet, and it's invisible, but don't force me out. No, just let me take this time. This time in the invisible closet.
Waves of life, the waves of life, flying high into the sky, floating freely, not a worry in sight. Stomp you to the ground. You can't hope, you can't dream, you can't wonder. No, no, no. Oh, yes, it all comes crashing down, down, down. Feet on solid ground. Someone to hold you tight on the coldest of nights. Feelings vivid, bright, brighter than sunlight. Stars in your eyes. Until it all comes crashing down. Stomp you to the ground. You can't hope, you can't dream, you
sharp and jagged metal, hoping Earth will hold us gently in her blanket. Pressure, pressure, make us stronger. Diamonds in her eyes, blue marble, split the moon in two. Half for me and half for you. The world is frigid, hard to stay with it, but then there's hope, our collective glow, until it all comes crashing down. Can't stop you to the ground. You can't hope, you can't dream, you can't wonder. No, no, no. Oh, yes, it all comes crashing down. Down, 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 down. Yes, it all comes crashing down. Can't stop you to the ground. You can't hope, you can't dream, you can't wonder. No, no, no. Oh, yes, it all comes crashing down, down.
That's Madam Psychosis, a band from Sudbury, I think, with a tune called Crashing Down. From their press kit, Madam Psychosis is a five-piece alt pop and indie rock band from Toronto, not Sudbury. The band released their debut album on June 16th, 2017, and received a positive response. Most notably, the single Space Motorcycle cracked Alan Cross's top 11 playlist. Madam Psychosis is now working on new material for an upcoming album. The band released Crashing Down, their second release of 2019, during Canadian Music Week in 2019, where they hit the stage for 2 showcase performances. Prior to this, they released Just Want to Be Myself as the lead single on their January 3rd album. They're now preparing to showcase their work during their TV appearances on Global The Morning Show and CHCH Morning Live. And of course, we're also featuring them here on CKMS Community Connections. Before that, we heard Sarah Gojan. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that name correctly. She writes contemporary folk songs that embody the weighted lyrical content of Leonard Cohen, but with her heart-wrenching lyrics are wrapped up with the sweet folky melodies that take influence from Joni Mitchell. Using stories and personal experiences, she crafts songs that are honest and relatable. Sarah is also a solo act, a vocalist who accompanies herself on acoustic guitar. Sarah's accomplished writing led her to be selected as finalist for the well-respected John Lennon Songwriting Contest in 2018. And Sarah originates from Sudbury. I knew Sudbury was in there somewhere. And she's moved several times over her career to pursue her music. She packed her bags for Northern Michigan, where she spent her high school career studying songwriting at the Interlochen Arts Academy. Following high school, she was accepted to the prestigious Berklee College of Music, where she continues her studies in songwriting, music business, and music technology. Home Again is Sarah's debut EP, which was released in August 2018, and she then had a 10-day tour of Ontario. Unfortunately, I don't think she made it to Kitchener-Waterloo and wasn't here on CKMS Community Connections. That's Sarah Gojan and her new single, Invisible Closet. I have in the studio Surekha Shenoy. Welcome, Surekha.
Thank you, Bob.
Surekha is with the Waterloo Region Liberal Women's Association.
Let me help you out, Bob.
Help me out.
It's first of all, thank you for inviting us and helping us make people aware in Waterloo region about our organization and why I'm here. Our organization is called Waterloo Region Women's Provincial Liberal Association.
Aha.
So
Thank
there
you.
you go.
And you've been in politics for a while yourself.
Yeah, not too long, I would say, but
over a year.
But that's right. But long enough to say I was the Liberal candidate for the provincial candidate for Kitchener South Hespeler last year in 2018.
Yeah.
and had a great experience meeting people, listening to their stories and concerns.
We shared a stage a few times as I was the Green Party candidate for Kitchener-Conestoga.
That's right. We've
Yeah.
met before in local
Yeah,
debates.
Absolutely. And currently, you're the president of the. Help me out
Yes,
here.
yes. Sorry, it's a mouthful because I'm the president of the Waterloo Region Women's Provincial Liberal Association, and I'll just give a bit of background
Yeah,
and
please
as
do. Please do.
to who we are.
Mhm.
We founded our organization in February this year, or January, I should say, of this year, 2019. But before that, we were a smaller organization called the Cambridge Women's Liberal Association. What we do is, and because we founded it because women need a role and a voice and a place where they feel comfortable talking about policy issues or anything that matters. And we all know, yesterday I had an interesting conversation in terms of are women oppressed or not? Are women considered equals or not? And I had a very interesting conversation. And the thing was, women do feel, the research has shown there is evidence as to why women need more encouragement. And from that came the founding of a women's association. There is the Ontario Women's Liberal Commission,
Okay.
and so of that we are affiliated to Ontario Women's Liberal Commission.
Is this an electoral district association recognized by Elections Ontario or Elections Canada?
No, we are not recognized as a EDA, as you mentioned, by Elections Ontario. We are affiliated to a PLA, that's the Provincial Liberal Association, to a riding association. There is a lot of work involved if you want to become an EDA, and so no, we aren't. We are an organization solely to raise awareness, provide a forum for women to talk about issues, and to have our say in policy matters. This is with the Liberal Party of Ontario.
right.
So we are a forum for women to get engaged and to also encourage women to run in politics.
There's definitely gender disparity in women involved in politics. I mean, women outnumber men in Canada as a whole. I think something like 51% of the population is female, 49% is male, yet women make up only about 25% of Parliament, the House of Commons. Liberal cabinet is far better with gender parity, but overall women are not well represented in the political sphere.
Absolutely not. My background is in engineering, and then I moved into financial services industry. So I'm well aware. I worked heavily in terms of promoting visible minorities and women on boards. And in fact, it's just not about boards everywhere from leadership positions. So you are right. There is a disparity in terms of having women. And this is another reason why we believe, we say add women, change politics. That's the slogan that we use. And it's absolutely true that women do a better job. I shouldn't say that, I'm sorry, but it is true. That's why there's a strong push to have women in boards and management positions. They are a multitasker. There's no questions on that. And that is one of the biggest reasons we have our association.
Tend to temper the conversation so that it's not as adversarial as we find in the House of Commons today. Far more consensus-based. All Green Party policies too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and we see that this disparity exists not just in the political sphere, but it sort of goes everywhere. I mean, I just played two songs from women artists, yet in our radio station we specifically mark musical tracks by women as femcon, so that we can pull that genre up to provide additional promotion to women artists. They're just not well represented in the musical sphere as well.
Absolutely. In fact, like I said, yesterday I had a animated discussion, I should say, in terms of should women or any segment of society be provided additional support to prop them up. And my conversation versus my fellow friend, I should say, was not in favor. And my thing was absolutely women need women, and there are other groups, LGBTQ and indigenous groups and many other groups who need the support today to be brought up to level, to power. And later on, maybe in decades to come, we don't need that kind of support, maybe. But right now, absolutely, if you don't educate people about what it is, there's never going to be a support or a increase in today. It's about women joining or having a say or being brave enough to come forward and do things.
And that's exactly what it is. It isn't that women lack the ability or the knowledge to participate in politics or in music or anywhere else. It's that they systemically get excluded from those areas. And so the thrust of having a women's political association is not so much to provide them with the education and the background that they need. It's to make them more visible.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we discuss policies all the time, and also policies that are geared towards lifting women or bringing up issues about women that are not often spoken about. I'll foray into politics a little bit, where
That's
it
why
has
you're
been.
here.
That's right. It has predominantly been men who think how policy regarding women should be addressed. And I'm not so sure men do understand everything what women face or understand their situations. So it's important to highlight that, to bring women to have a say in how things should be shaped. And our association is geared towards that. And our event that is coming up, which is one of the reasons I wanted to
we'll certainly get into that.
and thank you.
In great detail.
Is for that same reason, highlighting the challenges or the importance of how women have to navigate in politics. My background was, like I said, engineering and in financial services. And you continuously have to prove women can do not a good job, a better job for the same position men have. It was a continuous effort to show that we can do that job.
Yeah. And I think you said, in the decades to come, hopefully this won't be necessary. I hope it takes less than decades. I hope we can fix this in, maybe the next election cycle, another 4 years or so, to get gender parity in both the candidates and in the House of Commons and in the provincial legislature and everywhere else where women are unequally represented at the moment. But it's not the women that you need to target. It's the men who are occupying those areas and to stop that systemic exclusion from taking place.
Absolutely. So actually, you make a good point in terms of changing the paradigm of how men think. It's not the women. It's about saying you have to be more inclusive or more aware of women's needs too. And we are opening, though it's the event that's coming up on Saturday, a breakfast event, we are opening it up to men. We said, it's important for men to hear what those challenges are, not just women, and understand what it is that women face or women go through in politics.
Does the Liberal Association, Liberal Party, have other specific forums here? Possibly an Indigenous forum or a forum for new Canadians, because those populations tend to be underrepresented in politics as well.
That's correct. So there isn't a formal association or a group as such for visible minorities or the Indigenous groups, but we do have. I just came back from the AGM for the Ontario Liberal Party. We had a great event this past weekend, so we are all energized here. And we have a vice president for engagement in terms of getting community engagement, which is targeted towards making sure we have people from different groups being represented in the conversation of how to shape the future of the Ontario Liberal Party, as well as politics in the province or in the country.
And so at your convention, this was a policy-making convention?
No, it wasn't, but there was discussion about policy. Okay. We will be having it in the coming months, in next year, actually, early next year. This was more in terms of rebuilding, energizing, understanding the things that we need to do. We are in the process. We, as you know, we have an interim leader, John Fraser, right now. But of course, the move is to find a new leader,
Right.
and that will be next year.
Okay.
So those were discussions on how we want to shape the future of the Ontario Liberal Party.
Right.
And there were over 1,000 delegates there. It was an amazing event, AGM. And so discussions were all about policy as well as leadership, as well as what we as a party, as grassroots, want in the party. Amazing conversations.
Very good. Yeah. In the Ontario Liberal legislature, the Liberals were somewhat underrepresented as well.
Well, that's an understatement, I would say. So, yes, we are underrepresented today. We are, as the folks call, we are a minivan. But the amazing fact is, it's a fact that people try to. I don't know what the need is to say that, but however, people do say that, and it's okay to acknowledge. Yes, we are a small group of people in the Parliament today at Queen's Park. However, there is a lot of support in terms of what's going on today. It's very sad today to see the cuts that are being made by this government, and there's a lot of support. You might have seen recent polls which show there is a lot of buyer's remorse maybe in the community, in the province right now.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, I think I was trying to steer you over towards getting better representation, a proportional representation for the Liberals based on the vote count, and having a proportional representation system would also give better gender balance, give better ethnic balance, better religious affiliation balance as well. So that's sort of the direction I was trying to steer you in.
Okay, so sorry, we did have those just to kind of give you a bit of insight. We did have conversations on how to elect a leader, what it should be, proportional voting, all kinds of conversations did come into it. And, it's not just whether it's our party or any party in terms of politics. We do need to understand people are not aware today about proportional representation. So we need to do a better job of what it means before we say, yay or nay. People need to be educated on that. And definitely it will help resolve some of the issues we face today about gender parity.
In countries that do have proportional representation, you see much better gender balance in their parliaments,
absolutely.
In their houses. Yeah. So the Liberals spearheaded a referendum on proportional representation back in 2007. It was a provincial Liberal initiative. Sadly, it wasn't particularly well promoted and ended up not passing. I think it passed with only about 39% of votes in favor of adopting proportional representation. 39% seems to be a frequently cited figure because that's how majorities tend to be established as well. We have a provincial majority with about 39% of the vote for the Conservatives, and we have a federal majority as well with only about 39% of the popular vote. So, proportional representation would go a long way towards equalizing that.
That's correct. Yeah. There is. I know, if I'm not mistaken, Cambridge, during the last municipal elections, we had a vote on that as well.
That's
Again,
right.
Unfortunately, it didn't go.
Well, it did actually. The councillors have pledged to adopt the will of the population there. The result may not have been positive, but the council is currently discussing how to achieve a proportional or a ranked ballot system, not necessarily proportional representation, but having a ballot that is ranked for the candidates. So those discussions are continuing in Cambridge.
That's
actually.
Right.
Yeah.
We do need to make people better aware of what it means, and that is something I feel anything in terms of policy or social policies, I feel we don't do enough of a job in terms of educating the public what it is for people to come out and vote. Though our municipal elections, there wasn't enough people coming out and voting.
That's right. The voter turnout for the referendum and for just the election in general was too low to have been considered binding.
Correct.
But based on the votes that were received, the councillors have pledged to support.
Continue the
that,
discussion.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd like to turn to a little bit more music. And
Okay.
then after we come back, we can talk about the big event happening on Saturday.
For sure. Thank
Great.
you.
So we're going to be listening to some more Velvet Code. This is from the album Dreamer. And the tune that we'll be hearing is A Fire Inside.
Falling down, it never ends. It's taking its toll, we can't pretend to know. But keeping you all in line. We hit the ground at your command. Feeling alone, forget the past we know. The dreams, they hold you high. You and I were leading different lives. Can't you see the future in our eyes? We refuse to be so compromised. 'Cause now you've got a fire inside. You've got a kick in your stride. We took the tunnel to the light. You've got a fire inside. Stop, press, and rewind. We took the tunnel to the light. What you want to hear. All the good that can come once you control your fear. You're leaving it all behind. Bet you don't give up this time. The struggle is real, you're bending time, we know. You've won, you've dodged the line. You and I were leading different lives. Can't you see the future in our eyes? We refuse to be so compromised. 'Cause now you've got a fire inside. You've got a kick in your stride. We took the tunnel to the light. You've got a fire inside. Stop, press, and rewind. We took the tunnel to the light. You've got a fire inside.
kicking your stride. We took the tunnel to the light. You've got a fire inside. Stop, press, and rewind. We took the tunnel to the light. You've got a fire inside. You've got a kick in your stride. We took the tunnel to the light. You've got a fire inside. Stop, press, and rewind. We took the tunnel to the light.
Some more Velvet Code. That was Fire Inside from the Dreamer EP. Surekha was asking a few minutes ago, Surekha Shenoy, our guest today from the Waterloo Region
Women's Provincial Liberal Association.
Women's Provincial
Liberal
Association. I'll get that straight before the show is done. I'm sure of it. Surekha was asking, where do we get our music? Well, we get our music through submissions. New artists can send music to office@radiowaterloo.ca. Let us know what the artist is all about. Send us a bit of bio information, because we'd like to give information about the artist, the artist that we're actually playing. On CKMS Community Connections, this show, we're actually playing only Canadian content music. So we get lots of Canadian content music submitted to us. Usually we get more submitted in a week than we can play during a 2-hour show.
That's amazing,
Yeah,
because
there's a lot of Canadian talent out there.
and I commend you for encouraging Canadian artists.
Yes, well, there are so many that need the extra support, because internationally, the market is dominated by American artists. And, you see that in Europe, you see that in Africa, you see that in Canada. It's the American culture that sort of pervades. And, we have a very good Canadian community and Canadian culture here. Just need a little bit of promotion.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the music.
Oh, good.
And that is very good. Absolutely. Then, like I said, it's important to encourage our fellow artists.
And that actually gives a good example that doing this additional promotion for the Canadian content artists doesn't necessarily promote inferior content.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not.
And so I think we're going to see the same thing in promoting women in politics. You're not going to get inferior candidates applying. You're just going to get candidates who might not otherwise come to the front.
Absolutely. Women need a little bit of encouragement in terms of saying go ahead, because it's naturally women take a step back or have been pushed back. And so a little bit of encouragement is always important. And that's one of the things we as a Liberal Association, Waterloo Region Women's Provincial Liberal Association, focuses on encouraging women and supporting them. In terms of supporting women, I ran as a candidate, and I'm a woman of color, a visible minority. So the amount of support I got was tremendous. And if it wasn't, though I am a confident professional, I would say I too had some hesitation before I could join partner, put my name forward. If it wasn't for the support of the Women's Liberal Association, I would definitely say, I would have said, no, maybe not. Maybe it's not meant for me. And so this was one of the reasons, I would say, the Women's Liberal Association, the OWLC, has a fund called the Margaret Campbell Fund, which encourages, and they raise funds. We raise funds for the Margaret Campbell Fund, which is solely to help women candidates, new women candidates, while they run for political office, to help them financially a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Politics is a rich person's game.
Absolutely, that was my first thing when one of my friends suggested, "Why don't you run?" I said, "Listen, I'm not that rich person, and I don't think so. I can make that." And they said, "Who said you have to be rich? There is enough support." And that was one of the.
Just asking if you could move your phone. The phone is.
Is that okay? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's an electronic thing. It's being picked up by the microphone. The microphone picks up everything. That's its job.
It is a scary environment we live in, for sure.
Yeah. So, having this additional support is really, really useful, because another underrepresented segment of the political sphere is those people of insufficient means. People who are so busy scrambling with 2 or 3 precarious jobs trying to make ends meet. They don't have time or the money to be able to get involved in politics.
That is exactly true. And one of the reasons the Margaret Campbell Fund was set up. Margaret Campbell, for people who don't know, she was our first Liberal MPP way back in 1973. And so, in her honor, this fund was set up, and we actively raised funds for the Margaret Campbell Fund. When I ran for politics last year, during my campaign, I got a big donation from all candidates. There were over 23, I don't know, maybe a little more than 23 new candidates, women candidates. First-time candidates who all got a check from the Margaret Campbell Fund, and it is a big donation. Some of the women candidates who were there at the AGM this past weekend said that was the biggest donation we got in terms of funds. So it is a great feature of the Ontario Women's Liberal Commission to have set up this fund, and for us to raise funds for women in politics.
It's an excellent way of getting more people involved. More people should be getting involved in politics.
Absolutely.
I mean, everything is really a political issue when you come right down to it. So one of the specific things you're doing is coming up this weekend. I ran into Dorothy McCabe at a different event, and she happened to mention to me that, yes, there is going to be a Waterloo Region's Women's Political Liberal Association breakfast. The WRWPLA is excited to announce and present our first breakfast panel on Saturday, June 15th, 2019. Join us to hear from nonpartisan regional and municipal elected officials on their perspectives regarding interaction with different levels of government to advance community needs. You've got a bunch of prominent guests: Regional Chair Karen Redman, Mayor Catherine McGarry from Cambridge, Councillor Deepika Damerla from City of Mississauga, and the moderator is Dorothy herself, Dorothy McCabe, who also ran in the provincial election in Waterloo Region. And you'll be there?
Yes, absolutely. So this is a great event. I'm very excited. This is our first breakfast event. So we were founded in January of this year, 2019. And one of the things we want to make sure is highlight the role of women in politics, and what better place than our region, which elected Karen Redman. She's our regional chair now, and also Catherine McGarry, who's our mayor of Cambridge.
That's right.
And Deepika, all women in politics prior. They were all Liberal elected officials, and now have moved on to nonpartisan regional politics. Right. And it's important to hear how, first, being as a woman, their role in politics and how they have navigated the political sphere. Yeah. Second, now they've moved from partisan politics onto non-partisan level. And it's important to understand how, I don't know, I'm curious to hear from them on Saturday. Is it easier? Is it difficult? Once you know they were all Liberal politicians before. And the government in the province right now is from a different stripe. Is there a little bit of behind the scenes. I don't know the answer to this, and that's why I
Yeah.
encourage everyone to attend our event
That's right.
to hear how difficult is it to advance community needs.
There'll probably be a question and answer session for the panelists.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm looking at the schedule here. Registration is at 8:30 in the morning. Breakfast and networking goes until 9:30. You've got the panel discussion from 9:30 to 10:30.
So sorry, we didn't mention where it was. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, go. So this is Saturday, June 15th from 8:30 right till 11. Location is the Grand Valley Golf and Country Club at 1910 Roseville Road in Cambridge.
So the event is free. We have opened up the event, and we have opened up the event for men and women to the region. It's non-partisan in terms of the panel that we have got.
Non-partisan for attendance too, so you don't have to be a Liberal member to attend.
Absolutely, you don't have to. You don't have to be. We've opened up the thing. We'll talk about it, but the thing is, it's open for anyone to attend right now. It's a free event, mind you. We cannot raise funds, so we ask for a small donation to cover the cost of the event.
Yes,
and it starts at 8:30. It's finished off by 11 o'clock. And the panel is there. There will be question and answer. Our moderator is Dorothy McCabe. I know her very well. Great candidate from last year at Waterloo riding. She, I'm sure, will moderate the panel very well. And we hope to hear from the community as well as to what their concerns are, or in terms of what they're thinking. The whole purpose of the breakfast panel is we are going through a few topics. Navigating the political space as a woman, what it means to be a woman and navigate the political system. The other important thing, what we see today, is engaging our youth in politics. How do we make sure our younger generation today is actively involved? That's a big thing, and I feel the biggest change makers of tomorrow have to be youth. And how do we make sure we engage them? Then also the state of political discourse everywhere around the globe. It's an issue what the discourse is right now. So we want to have a conversation on that. Also, too much government versus too little government. What is the balance? So these are some interesting topics. We have more. We do because it's an hour. We have to be mindful of our panelists and their time. And we are fortunate we could get the star panel on to make sure we have these conversations first, and then take questions from the floor.
Yeah, very good. You said that it's important to engage youth with a continuously declining voter turnout. That would tend to imply that the young people aren't voting. As the more engaged voters, the older population is no longer with us. We're seeing that the voting population isn't being replenished from the young people.
A serious concern, and I think we need to do a better job of having those conversations with the younger generation, whether it is talking to them and making them aware what their role is in terms of shaping the future. Climate action is one thing I'll say.
Yes.
Is something, and I commend our younger generation in terms of coming forward and saying how important it is for them. So in a similar way, shaping political discourse is also very important for this younger generation, because they are the leaders of tomorrow. They are the ones who are inheriting the environment or the country and a community, and it's important they have a say. I always tell people it's not just our younger generation, but there are the visible minorities, other segments of the population who are not involved in politics as well. And my conversation yesterday, which was such a great conversation I was having, was I was told, make sure your next leader is this way or belongs to this. I said, listen, it is the best leader who comes forward. If you're not engaged, if these segments are not engaged, if you want a particular segment to come forward, you have to be engaged in the whatever discussion it is, whether it's about climate change or it's electing a leader or it's about education. You have to be involved. I was involved with the Cambridge Memorial Hospital, and I did quite a few things. I was the chair of the hospital foundation board there. one of the things I said was, we have to be involved. If you want to make a difference, you have to be involved, get engaged. So like I say, add women, change politics. Same thing, add youth, get involved in politics, and make a difference.
Yeah.
Make a difference.
And you've got young liberal associations as well to encourage young people to get involved.
Absolutely. We have young liberals. We call them the Ontario Young Liberal Association.
Yes.
So we have, most campuses have a liberal association and young liberals. It's very nice to see younger generation. They are so active in the political conversation. So we do have young liberal associations across different campuses. Waterloo University has it. Wilfrid Laurier has it. Most of the universities have it.
So with the current political environment provincially, I've noticed that the young liberals at the university have been concentrating largely on educational issues. But is that their sole focus?
Absolutely not.
I didn't think so.
No. So absolutely not. But unfortunately, this provincial government has made so many cuts and impacted so many things in the name of saying that they want to reduce the deficit, which is not the case. So education has been unfortunately targeted by this government.
Yeah.
And the future of tomorrow is these younger, the students in the universities. And it's important not to cut education. And so that's why you see education, not to say there's environmental issues that they're concerned about, LGBTQ, gender equality that they fight on. There is so many things that this government has done that it might look like it's only education, but no, this younger generation or the young liberals are involved. Not just the young liberals, all Liberal Party members are strongly rallying in terms of making the community aware of all the cuts that are happening. And it's not right. It's not right.
And there's subtle cuts. They're cuts that you wouldn't immediately see as affecting education immediately. For example, student loan repayment is the kind of thing that's being forced to happen immediately rather than being deferred. And while it doesn't sound like it's a cut directly, it certainly affects those students that have to repay their loans as soon as they've graduated without having a chance to be in the workforce to earn some money to do that repayment.
Absolutely. It's sad. And I wish our local politicians come to the table. We've tried so much to talk to them. They don't come. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. I don't want to steer the conversation completely onto for the people, kind of the slogan that this provincial government ran on, and targeting students who need all the support they can to, first of all, finish their education, then find employment, and then build it. But cutting them off a small 6 months, I don't know what the purpose was for this government to cut funds to cut the services to these group. I have no idea what their philosophy was on it. It's hard to understand why they cut everywhere, and yet they want to sell beer in the... I don't know. I don't want to get into that.
Let's not get into that this time around now. We lots of time for that in a couple of years when the next election comes around. The other place where I've seen the youth involvement is during the youth climate rallies. In fact, that's where I met Dorothy McCabe again and she gave me the information about the upcoming event on the weekend. A lot of youth are coming out to the climate strikes, the climate rallies, because that, to them, as it is to me, seems to be one of the most pressing issues going on today.
Absolutely. I have 2 girls, and I say, and it's the climate change naysayers, I would say there is no such issue as that. But it's unfortunate, this global warming, the Canada's climate has been warming up twice the speed of what the whole on the global stage. And it's important to know that our children, it's not just about warming up. There's the issue of plastics, there's the issue of all kinds of things. In terms of what our future, our children and our grandchildren and the future generations are going to inherit, or are they going to even inherit anything? Because one said, what are you talking? We don't even know if we have a future. Forget about talking about how it will look. I don't even know what kind of world will be, what the world will look like 20 years, 30 years 50 years from now.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important. We want to see a future for ourselves, but I don't know if there will be a future. It's the girl in Sweden.
Yes, Greta Thunberg.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very touching when you read her speech, and I ask people to read some of her political speech, not political speeches, her speeches. She's not into politics.
No,
And it's very scary.
Everything is a political issue. So somebody said that environmental concerns are a political issue. If you're not politically engaged, you're part of the environmental problem. So
fair enough.
That's probably true for any issue that you might want to think of. You mentioned while we were off mic a while ago that there's another event taking place, not just the one on Saturday, but you've got another event coming up as well.
Yes. So there are two events. Sorry.
Okay,
Bob.
Go ahead.
So June 19th, we have, in terms of healthcare cuts, that's happening. So June 19th, we have an event with our interim leader, John Fraser, who's coming to the Waterloo region here, and Natalie Meher. She's the executive director of the Ontario Health Coalition. So we have a town hall on June 19th in the evening, and we encourage people to come and hear about Bill 74 and the cuts to healthcare. It's important for the community to understand and rally. Recently, we were at a rally, which was in April, a huge rally at Queen's Park.
Yes.
Over 10,000 people came there. I was part of that rally. And it's important to let the government know not to make the cuts that they're doing to healthcare. It affects all of us. So that's one of the events on June 19th. There's another event which I'm the co-chair of, the East Indian community of Waterloo region. We raise funds. We do a walk, 5-kilometer walk in September, third week of third Sunday.
Okay.
And we raise funds for local charities, mostly hospitals. We've raised over $400,000 in terms of providing funds to the different hospitals, St. Mary's, Grand River, and Cambridge Memorial Hospital. This year, we are raising funds for the Cambridge Memorial Hospital Foundation. And that's something I'm very proud of. The people in the region come together and we raise funds.
So we'll have all that in the show notes for today's show, the CKMS Community Connections. You can find all that online, radiowaterloo.ca/CCC. Where can you find you online, Surekha?
So Ontario, the Waterloo region Women's Provincial Liberal Association.
Yes.
We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
So you can go to the Facebook page and like us. And then
we like you, Surekha.
like us. And so you can see our event information there. We also have our riding association, different riding associations. So there are 5 in the region. The Waterloo Riding Association, you can go to Waterloo region, WPLA. I'll tell you the address.
We'll have it all in the show notes.
Okay, so we can. So all riding associations have a website. You can go and find information there about all events, and you can call us, email us, wrwpla@gmail.com to get information about the event.
Okay, that'll all be on the show notes as well.
Thank you.
radiowaterloo.ca/CCC. It's Community Connections, CKMS Community Connections. Today we've been talking to Surekha Shenoy from the Waterloo Region Women's Provincial Liberal Association.
You got it, Bob.
All right,
Thank you.
it took a little bit of practice.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you in, Surekha. We're going to go to a little bit of music. Jojo Worthington, who we had on the show last week as well. This is from her album, The Company You Keep, and the song is Small Encounters. We'll be back next week, Monday, every Monday from 10 o'clock till noon, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Bob.
So why can we fall into this sun? But I have the right.